in the news?
There is nothing happening in the news that isn't going to trigger me and go off on a rant. Really long, random...
It sounds a bit pyramid-y, doesn't it?
100%.
What's the bloody point? Nobody knows.
Nice idea.
I've got some bananas here. I was wondering whether you said bananas or whether I saw some bananas and thought bananas.
Sitting on my arse doing nothing. Banana Wars, episode 4.
Welcome to the Tuesday Show with CJ and Ted.
Sorry, I just remembered the one of the last episodes when we were talking about was it no petting in the swimming pool, and he did the clip for the coming up, and it's just me doing that. I pissed myself laughing. I was like, what the fuck am I doing?
Yeah, that was...
I'm pretty sure that's why you put it there, but
yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I thought, I've got to use that. That's great.
Yeah.
You know, without context.
That's what I mean, 'cause there was no context to it. I was like, what?
Yeah. Yeah.
So good. Yeah, that was a good editorial choice. I like it.
So what's going on in the news? What's in the news?
There is nothing happening in the news that isn't going to trigger me and go off on a rant. And I feel like that's not the purpose of this show.
That's pretty standard.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anything necessarily wrong with having a rant.
Why are cryptocurrency adverts taking over the Super Bowl? Is that really newsworthy? I mean, it probably is newsworthy, because especially how most of the world seems to be most government-controlled world seems to be against cryptocurrency.
Well, yes. I mean, anything that might diminish their control is something to be wary of.
Exactly.
Although I have to say, I'm a little bit wary anyway. I mean, I don't know an awful lot about cryptocurrency, and that's overstating how much I know.
I know a little bit, not nowhere near enough to be able to trade and make money from it. But it's just like stocks. You know, people buy and sell cryptocurrency, and the value changes based on demand and demand and availability, as you know, as happens with stocks.
But without there actually being anything, there's nothing physical at the end of it.
Just like stocks. There's nothing physical about it. It's just a number on a computer to say how many you have.
There is.
What the value is.
Well, yes, you say that, but ultimately there is a company doing something at the end.
Yeah.
And it's about the value of that company and about the value based on the profit that company makes or is expected to make.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, like you say, there's tangible.
I mean, I'm not going to suggest that any normal currency really makes a great deal of sense. Not when you can just print trillions of dollars on a whim.
Yeah, no, exactly.
But it's a really good way of destroying a currency.
Yeah.
So people looking for a replacement, I can sort of understand.
I mean, it's so volatile though, cryptocurrency, because there's nothing kind of tangible at the end of it. It's literally just, this is an electronic currency. You'll never be able to hold it in your hand. It's literally a number on your screen, and that is it.
I think, it's a risk. It's certainly a risky thing. There's no way of knowing which cryptocurrencies are going to survive, if any, and what they're going to do. And if you take away stop thinking about using it as an investment. Some people use crypto coins. I'm just using terms I've heard vaguely, but use that to buy physical products. And The problem, and probably something that's a little bit more sinister, is the idea that people might use or get used to using cryptocurrency in their everyday life, perhaps even be paid in cryptocurrency. And then you've got to wonder, well, actually, who controls it? Who's the control? Who says you can conduct transactions? You can save, you can do this, you can whatever. We have as a country, and many other countries are exactly the same. We have certain rules in place in terms of finances. Banks have to go through various types of regulation to make sure that they're protecting money for customers in terms of, lending, or in terms of, transferring money and what have you. If you've got something that's pretty much an unknown, and actually in many cases you don't even know who's behind it, then it kind of hangs in the balance. And then what you're doing is you're potentially giving a lot of power to somebody that isn't a government, is just could be anyone, could be any kind of organization, and saying, you're going to be the one that decides whether or not I can buy something, whether I can trade, whether I can earn money. And you could really, really screw up a lot of people, a lot of businesses.
I guess that's what governments are worried about.
Yeah.
I guess that's kind of what governments are worried about, isn't it? Because there is no regulation over it.
Yeah.
I mean, cybercrime has many ties to cryptocurrency. There's a form of cyber attack called it's like a mining hack or something. Mm-hmm. What happens is somebody hacks into your computer. Assuming you haven't got good enough software to protect yourself, somebody will hack into your system and basically drop a little program that will run in the background. You'd never know it's there. And what it does is it uses the resources that you're not using. It then uses to mine cryptocurrency. So it's basically somebody trying to get cryptocurrency for free.
Yeah.
Without using their own resources, they'll do it with someone else's. And but obviously that's because cryptocurrency is it's the popular thing right now.
So here's the question for you: What is cryptocurrency mining?
So right, that's a much bigger question than just as someone grabs a pickaxe and starts digging. Again, I don't know the full ins and outs, but I can give you the basics, which is, so cryptocurrency works on what they call a blockchain, which is like a really long, random code, if you like, of numbers and letters that it's almost like an equation that a computer has to solve to then retrieve a Bitcoin. And then once they've got it, that it's theirs. So in the early days, the blockchains, or the sums these equations that computers had to figure out were really simple and really easy. So it was easy to mine, and you could get loads of them over however long. Now it takes thousands of computing hours to decrypt one of the blockchains, which is why cryptocurrency is so expensive right now, because the amount of energy used to mine basically outweighs how much the cryptocurrency is actually worth, like when it first started, which is basically you'd have to invest thousands of pounds worth of energy to mining cryptocurrency, but then also to get your money back, the value has to go up,
right?
To kind of match that. But the thing of it's all algorithms and stuff that I don't understand.
What's the purpose? What's the product? Are you actually doing some sort of calculation? Excuse me. Are you doing some sort of calculation that is of use to somebody else? Is somebody farming out?
I don't know.
Okay.
However, I know someone who does. His name is Google.
Uh-huh.
So, what is cryptocurrency mining? Here we go. So let's do that. Cryptocurrency mining is a method of verifying transactions on a digital ledger for a blockchain using machines with extensive computing power. Cryptocurrency mining is something any individual or organization can do with adequate hardware and software resources, but the expansion of mining and increasing costs make it progressively difficult for newcomers. Cryptocurrency mining is the process where specialized computers known as nodes or mining rigs validate blockchain transactions for a specific crypto coin and in turn receive a mining reward for their computational effort. So there you go, if that made any sense.
It sounds a bit pyramid-y, doesn't it?
100%. So, but I mean, as for a tangible result at the end, or a real, a tangible reason for doing it, no idea. Apart from just to get the currency at the end, which obviously you can then trade and make money off. I guess that's kind of the purpose of it. Blockchains require an expansive network of machines to verify and store transactions to support global cryptocurrencies. Overarching distributed digital ledgers. Okay.
I think if the first paragraph didn't blow our socks off, I don't think going any further will.
I'm literally just trying to see if it gives me an actual,
what's the bloody point? Yeah.
Yeah, what's the point?
Yeah. Nobody knows. Nobody knows.
It becomes visible to the blockchain's P2P network.
Do 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 do.
It doesn't actually tell me what the purpose of mining is or what these transactions are. It sounds like someone's just made up
some shit.
Something and just gone, oh hey, you need to get a computer to figure all of this out, and then if you can do this for me, I'll give you this thing called a crypto, called a Bitcoin. Nice idea. I think the lack of regulation on it is something to be worried about, because it could just crash at any moment. And the problem is, and as soon as government steps in and starts putting in restrictions on like I think China basically banned Bitcoin at one point, or banned all cryptocurrencies at one point, and Bitcoin took a nosedive. And it happens every time it happened when so the UK banned a company called Binance, who are a crypto trade organization. They basically banned them from operations in the UK. And most of the cryptocurrencies took a hit. They took a slight fall, because basically everyone in the UK, myself included, went onto Binance and just went, well, I just need to sell this then, because it's no good to me. I can't trade it anywhere. And so I just need to sell it and take my money out. So the value of crypto went down. So every time something like that happens, every time the regulators step in and do something, the value of crypto goes down, which is why it's so volatile at the minute, because it's unregulated. It means that people will basically panic at the first sign of something going wrong, or the first sign of trouble. People panic and will sell, which then causes the value to go down. The basics of supply and demand. You don't need me to explain that to you. So, you understand supply and demand probably far better than I do. But it is the basics of supply and demand. When people start selling, there's an overabundance of supply, and then suddenly not a lot of demand, so the value goes down.
Not entirely sure what the demand is for electronic currency, though.
Well, this is the thing. There are companies who are...
There isn't anything behind it. Go on.
There are some businesses and organisations who are accepting cryptocurrency as a form of payment. You can get crypto... like crypto wallets for your crypto apps for your phone, where if you have cryptocurrency, you can pay in crypto. I like the idea of moving to one global world currency, and if Bitcoin is the one, cool, no problem. Because if you could, I'm not saying eradicate, but if you could slowly move away from currency to something digital, I feel like there's the potential for, I know it's kind of a utopian idea, but...
Sounds more dystopian to me.
It's got to be a mindset change from everybody, which I know is never going to happen because people are stubborn.
Well, also, there's quite a few billion people, so that would be quite a job, really.
Oh, yeah.
To have everybody use exactly the same currency. Bearing in mind, there are so many different parts of the world that work in so many different ways. And, even your example of, did you say bananas?
Yeah.
So your example of banana, I only say that because I've got some bananas here. So I just wondered whether you said bananas or whether I saw some bananas and thought bananas.
You heard me say bananas. No, actually, one I said was pineapples. No, I did say bananas. Okay. I don't know why it was the first thing that came to my head, but it was.
But it is a good example. And yes, the cost of a banana is likely to be different in different parts of the world.
That have to do it that way.
Yeah. You see, this is the problem with the idea of a single currency or trying to find some sort of parity across the country, let alone across the whole globe, which is that you're not going to have the same price for a banana in different parts of the world. You're not going to have the same price for a litre of water or whatever it may be, is because all of these things have different costs associated with them. Also, you've got different systems of government and whatnot.
Yeah.
It would be incredibly difficult, and I think possibly has the potential of not working in the same way as a communist regime doesn't work.
Yeah.
You can't have people working to exactly the same rules and looking for exactly the same outcome, because that will just stifle progress. The reason why there are bananas in Britain is because somebody is deciding that it's worthwhile to pick them up, transport them, move them, sell them, market them. And that is only possible because somebody thought it would be a great idea to create, design, and make possible the aeroplane. So there are all these different things, and it's not necessarily about governments. I mean, if you think about the economy as a whole, we've got companies, you've got self-employed people, you've got individuals, sole traders, small companies, big companies, middle-sized companies. You've got public services as well. They all have different needs. They all have different ways of working, and you can't expect to be able to somehow organize them all. The problem is when you try and start organizing, if you try and start to organize 7 billion people, you will have to regulate and over-regulate. You will stop people from doing things. You will stifle creativity. You will stifle business. And you will do that in such a way that, yes, everybody pays exactly the same for a banana. But now your banana costs 50 quid. Nobody can afford it. And you've just destroyed bananas for everyone. Yeah.
No, exactly. And it's a tough... I mean, I do struggle to kind of wrap my head around it. Just how everything works in that respect, in economics and business, and I don't have a high IQ. I'm not a businessman, not by any stretch. So I struggle to kind of understand how it all actually really truly works. But I mean, a good example I think of that. A good example of it not working. I was reading an article not that long ago about a business who they were trialing. Paying everybody exactly the same wage, irrespective of position, irrespective of job title, irrespective of how much work they're actually doing. everyone got paid the same, and it was kind of a trial just to see how people kind of reacted to that.
Yeah.
Is it a system of remuneration that would actually work in real life? And they discovered quite quickly that no, it's not. Not just because...
It's almost as though the last time they did that trial, 100 million people were murdered.
Well, yeah. Anyway, what they quickly found was actually it had the opposite effect, because people realised that, somebody will be like, well, hang on a minute, I'm working my socks off. Mm-hmm. This guy over here is doing fuck all, and he's getting paid the same as me. How does that work?
Yep.
Type scenarios. And I think that's kind of the problem that I've completely forgot where I was going with this point. Actually,
it was an example of how your utopian everybody pays the same amount for a banana, or we have the same currency, could
you
possibly fail.
It would work if everybody had exactly the same ethics about everything. But then straight away you've removed individuality. You've removed, I guess to a degree, you remove the creativity side of it, because everyone just goes, well, it's okay because we're all paying the same, or we all get paid the same.
Yep.
So I don't really need to do anything extra.
Yep.
Because I'm not going to get any more for it.
Well, you remove motivation, and that's what happens when you have trials like that in the workplace, where everybody gets paid the same in an organisation. And sometimes, it's very, very strictly, if you're the van driver or the CEO, everybody gets paid exactly the same. And isn't it wonderful?
Yeah.
Because we spread out we spread the profit across the company.
But you remove the drive for improvement as well, because
Well, you do, but also you increase the resentment, because why am I spending my time using my skills? I went to university for 4 years, and I did this and I did that, and I've got these accreditations or whatever it may be. But John's just driving a van, and he gets paid the same as I do. That's not fair.
Exactly, and you could easily just. And a lot of people, I think, would just end up being like, well, I could get paid exactly the same for sitting on my arse doing nothing. Yep. Having an easy life and still get paid the same as someone who's working their socks off.
Yeah.
I think I know which one I'm going to go for.
Yeah.
You kind of remove creativity and motivation and any incentive to, or any drive for improvement.
Yeah.
Which I think is the problem with that. So, I mean, I kind of understood where they were coming. I understand where they're coming from and what the motivation is to trial something like that. It would be lovely to be able to go to a business and say that irrespective of my performance, I still get paid what is deemed a fair value for my skill set. The motivation then to improve has to just come purely from the fact that I want to improve, that I want to do better, rather than just sit on my arse and just literally just check in, do what I've got to do, and then check out again.
Yeah.
I want to go the extra mile. I want to do more. I mean, I find that in life at the moment anyway. I want to do more. I want to be better. But it's like I say, I understand. I understand why. I understand the idea, but I think in practice it's just one of those that just doesn't work. We're all individuals. Everyone thinks differently. Not everyone is going to have the same view on it that another person does, and I think that's where kind of the competition kind of stems from. If you want more money, you have to work harder. You want to. You want to be able to afford those £50 bananas, you've got to work harder for it. You have to demonstrate and prove to us every day that you are deserving of the extra cash. And I think that's obviously what drives the economy anyway, is people wanting more wealth. The acquisition of wealth is the driving force behind everything at the moment.
Yeah. The problem is a lot of people would like to make the world a better place, and it is a dramatically astonishingly better place than it has ever been. Across the world, people's wealth, people's life expectancies, and so on, have never been as good as they are right now. I understand that, people might have, great ideas about, wouldn't it be great if, everything was more equal. If we all got, paid the same, it's great to have ideas and think things out. But a lot of these things have been tried and tested. And communism is one of the, is a key example of, hey, wouldn't it be great if we all had the same? Well, no, it wouldn't. It just simply wouldn't. And we have to accept the fact that very often life isn't fair. People have different things to others, and we also have different hopes and dreams and aspirations and motivations and so on and so forth. And we all have different cultures. We live in different, different corners of the world. But the one thing that's never going to make anything better is governments dictating and regulating what we do and how we do it.
True.
And the idea, going back to your original thought, the idea of trying to fix the price of bananas potentially across the world is that, that could be the beginnings of the World War III. The banana 100%. Wars, as they were known. Do you remember the banana wars? Yeah.
Banana Wars, episode 4.
But I really don't think that's an exaggeration, because that's the sort of thing that can, rip things apart and start a third world war over somebody's dream, a person's dream. That actually, wouldn't it be great if we could have a completely different system? And it won't be like communism. It won't be like, all these different systems that have failed in the past, because I'm somehow special, and I believe that I'm the one that can make it happen. Fast forward 50 years, millions dead, everything's destroyed, and no fucker's got a banana.
That was The Tuesday Show.
Get in touch with us. All the links are in the description. And until next time, goodbye.
Goodbye.